first invest on whatever is the matching contribution of your company. Kung 5% yon, then invest 5% also. And then every 6 months, add 1% to that. Kasi yung incremental na 1%, hindi nararamdaman yon. Every 6 months yon. So hanggang umabot ka na sa maximum contribution na allowable sa kumpanya. Where do you want to buy a property? Alam mo na ba? And then my daughter then told me, I want to have like say a unit in Manhattan. Okay, all right. So let's say magkano ang isang condo unit na one bedroom or studio sa Manhattan? Let's just say 500,000, ano? Okay, kung 500,000 yan, you need to put up 20% down payment para wala kang private mortgage insurance na babayaran na kasi aksaya sa pera yon. So kung magkano ang 20% ng 500,000, divide mo yon by the number of months kung kailan mo gustong bumili. So divide natin, Neil, magkano? 500,000 times 20%, that's 100,000 ba yan? Tama ba
Yes,
yan?
that's 100,000.
100,000. So yung 100,000 ngayon, divide mo ngayon, let's say she wants to buy in 5 years. So divide mo yon by 60 months. And then magkano ngayon ang kailangan mong iipunin per month to make that 100,000 in 5 years. So that's how I tried to do the math for them to have a goal kung magkano ang iipunin nila per month.
What's your advice to the younger generation, whether millennials or even Gen Z pa lang, in enjoying the now, which is important, na may delayed gratification, but also planning ahead and preparing? What are your tips with that? Kasi syempre, ang daming hatak dyan. O, travel tayo dyan, punta tayo dito, bili dito. Any practical tips that you can share with them?
This is what I always tell my children. Yung dalawang anak ko na, they're both nurses. And the moment they started working, I told them to have baskets. So may basket ka for travel fund, may basket ka for emergency fund, then may basket ka for retirement fund. Then may basket ka rin, meron kang contribution din sa simbahan. Para may naa-allot ka, na-enjoy mo lahat, nakakapag-travel ka, up to a certain, hindi ka naman pwede mag-travel max kasi you only have a certain portion saved. Pero nagagawa mo yon, pero nakakapag-ipon ka pag retirement, meron kang emergency savings, nakakapag-donate ka pa sa charity or sa simbahan nyo by just properly allocating money. It's just time management, You can do a lot of things in 4 hours, but if you don't allocate the time, if you don't put a stop to, isang oras lang muna akong maglalaba kasi mamaya kailangan ko nang magbasa dahil kailangan kong ipasa yung test bukas, yung ganon. If you don't allocate the time, then you will maybe unintentionally spend too much time on something when you could have done many more productive things.
Yes, it's really important to not be a victim of technology, but it is you who is controlling it. Minsan kasi nadidistract tayo at nai-entertain, which wala naman masama doon. But if it dominates your day, wala ka nang magawa, at even the present na apektuhan, mas mahirap yon. Ako, I am a firm believer, Ate G, that you need to say no to something so that you can say yes to another thing.
Correct. And make use of the technology also. I mean, technology may be bad and good as well. Kasi there are technology apps that help you limit your time, that helps you remove the apps that take more of your time instead of doing something else, di ba? Or as simple as setting an alarm, so that, after mag-allot ka lang ng 1.5 hours to do this, mas alarm ka para you can do something else. Make use of that. There's also apps for investing and all. Ang daming pwedeng magawang maganda sa pamumuhay natin ng technology. And on the other side, meron ding bad side yon, no? But, we have to be intentional with what we do and try to make good use of what we have, like the technology. Hanapin nyo yung pwedeng maging productive kayo, hindi lang yung, alam mo na, what we spend time on, di ba? Social media. While that is entertaining, sometimes that takes so much time. Nauubos na yung oras natin kakaso-scroll.
Yeah. It's really making of good use what's entrusted to you. Kasi nga, di ba, he who is faithful with little will be faithful with much. Kung hindi ka mapagkatiwalaan sa malit
Exactly.
na bagay, how can you be entrusted with bigger things? And I'm sure, Ate G, you have been very faithful even with the little. That's why you have what you have now and more to come because how you have been diligent.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah. Siguro question, you mentioned that you taught your daughters about certain baskets, fund,
Mm-mm.
even for God or for giving, also for whatever luho. Do you
Yes.
have a specific strategy in terms of percent or it depends on the person? Kasi I'm sure there's someone who's watching, okay, sige, magkakaroon ako ng travel goal, educational fund, retirement fund, or whatever. May certain percentage ba na ina-allocate na magandang rule of thumb? Or bahala na lang kung anong diskarte, kung anong priority mo?
I'll tell you what I told them. Ang rule of thumb ko is, syempre pag mga bata, mahirap sa kanila mag-invest ng 15% agad for retirement, di ba? So I tell them, first invest on whatever is the matching contribution of your company. Kung 5% yon, then invest 5% also. And then every 6 months, add 1% to that. Kasi yung incremental na 1%, hindi nararamdaman yon. Every 6 months yon. So hanggang umabot ka na sa maximum contribution na allowable sa kumpanya. And in the beginning, nung bago pa lang sila, tina-time ko yung ano ko, may alarm ako sa after 6 months, kailangan ko i-remind sarili ko na i-remind sila na, increase nyo na ng 1% yung contribution nyo sa retirement. So, that's how I started them. And then, about buying properties. So then I would ask them, where do you want to buy a property? Alam mo na ba? And then my daughter then told me, I want to have, like, say, a unit in Manhattan. Okay, all right. So let's say magkano ang isang condo unit na one bedroom or studio sa Manhattan? Let's just say 500,000, ano? Okay, kung 500,000 yan, you need to put up 20% down payment para wala kang private mortgage insurance na babayaran na kasi aksaya sa pera yon. So kung magkano ang 20% ng 500,000, divide mo yon by the number of months kung kailan mo gustong bumili. So divide natin, Neil, magkano? 500,000 times 20%. That's 100,000 ba yan? Tama ba
Yes,
yan?
that's
Di ba?
100,000.
100,000. So yung 100,000 ngayon, divide mo ngayon, let's say she wants to buy in 5 years. So divide mo yon by 60 months. And then magkano ngayon ang kailangan mong iipunin per month to make that 100,000 in 5 years. So that's how I tried to do the math for them to have a goal kung magkano ang iipunin nila per month. If that makes
Yeah,
sense to you.
I like what you have done to your daughters and even to the people you have helped. Kasi you are breaking down a big goal, like having a unit in Manhattan sa
Yeah.
New York, tapos i-breakdown mo, tanggalin mo yung 20 pa yung etong percent, tapos i-divide mo by 60, so lumalabas na sa 1,000 something lang per month, which
Yes.
pag-iisipin, mas palatable, mas doable. So it's
Correct.
really chunking it down. And I think that strategy is not just in finances, but even in projects, even in
Mm-hmm.
health, in
Mm-hmm.
building a skill, in chunking it down.